The alcoholic, non-alcoholic, zero alcohol drinks beverage market is taking the piss. And I use that in the double entendre pun sense of having a joke at my expense and the Australian colloquialism for an alcoholic beverage. When you look at all of these drinks, which I specifically targeted because I did not want my body to have to metabolize ethanol alcohol, which is the alcohol available legally. And so I specifically targeted non-alcohol. The first one was a few weeks into it, after I had been surfing down at Galway Beach and stopped at Mount Compass. On the way home for a hamburger while it was cooking, I went to the BWS next door or a couple of doors away and said, "What have you got that's non-alcoholic and a wave of beer like?" And this was it. And it says, "Heaps normal, too good to be wasted." On the top, delicious, refreshing, non-alcoholic beer. Non-alcoholic. So I cracked a can and had a couple of glugs out of it. And I thought I'd better just read the label. And then you get to the label and less than 0.5%. Now that's a level at which the average adult is not going to feel any intoxication. Certainly your body's going to metabolize the ethanol probably at least at the same rate as you're drinking it, and it's never going to register really on a breathalyzer. But nevertheless, a person like me who is deliberately avoiding alcohol metabolization, it has an effect. Anyway, I stopped drinking that after 2 guzzles, poured the rest down the sink, and I've still got the remainder 3 cans. So then I targeted a company that advertises zero alcohol. In fact, they have zero alcohol in their name. And I paid a reasonably high price, $25, $19, $25, $19. So I thought, well, I won't do the cheapy lolly water from Coles or Big W. I'll see what it's like. So I ordered those. Some of them did have a clear statement that they were between 0 and 0.5%. So they are allowed to call themselves legally non-alcoholic, even though they are not. So I targeted those that I understood to be non-alcoholic. While I'm waiting for that, I go to Dan Murphy's because, they hadn't been delivered, taking a few weeks, fragile. And I went to Dan Murphy's and I bought these two, the Grant Burge, $20, Prosecco, and that one, a red wine for Dan's. I've already made comment about the red, not worth drinking, never had it again, only got down to there. But at least it is not alcoholic. That's zero alcohol. And Dan Murphy's, in its non-alcohol little shelf space, mixed up the completely zero non-alcoholic and the up to 0.5%. But some of the labels were clear on the front that they were up to 0.05%, and I put those back and I chose those which did not have that warning on the front. So this one is actually non-alcoholic, and it's made locally by Grant Burge, and it's alcohol-free, and it's actually quite drinkable. So arrives the half a dozen that I bought from a company that specialises in, quote, zero alcohol. Had a glass of my first one last night. Which one was it? This one here, $15. And again, I had that much only with my meal last night in order to try to recreate the taste of having alcohol. I had a nice steak. I bought a steak deliberately to go with it, cooked it myself, medium rare, had the right wine with it. And by the way, for the record, I wouldn't ever bother with that again. Let's put that over there in the marked up, don't ever buy again, bother, because although you can drink it, I can't imagine a reason why you'd want to. And then I had a hangover this morning. And I'm going, how can I get a hangover out of a non-alcoholic wine? So I went on the internet and found out that, things like histamines and sulfates can do that. And I thought, well, before I go for a run, I'd better read the label. And so, reading the label, and I'm going to have to put my glasses on to read it. So, de-alcoholized wine containing grape skin extract. And then, I'm not even sure if I can find it again. Oh, here we go. Less than 0.5, so you don't actually know what it is. But it was bloody enough for me to wake up after nearly 12 hours of sleep, which is a hangover extension in itself of my normally max 8 hours, with a headache and feeling generally, a bit overwhelmed after my body is now quite sensitized, obviously, to alcohol after over 2 months of not drinking any. So I'm really unhappy with that. So then I check the others. 0 alcohol, this says. Now, the back of the label doesn't reveal to me here we go. Less than 0.5%. I knew it was in this row for a reason. So on the back it's got less than 0.5%. On the front it's got 0 alcohol. I'm bloody pissed by this, I can tell you, in case it's not obvious. This one. Also, so those two from the 0 alcohol shop, both got alcohol. One says 0 alcohol, and it clearly does not. This one, called Naughty, which, is obviously a pun or a play on words of 0, and cost me $25. It's a sparkling. I was quite looking forward to it. I'm going to take it to the Oyster Bar. But this one, when you look at the back, it is somewhere. Here we go. Hang on, where does it say? Ingredients, 90%, 97% de-alcoholized. Therefore, up to 3% alcohol. It's like, I don't know how they're getting away with it, but I'm going to be writing to Consumer Affairs, I can tell you that. This next one, $17.50, de-alcoholized from the 0 alcohol store. See what this says. 0% volume. Well, let's put that one in the category of that means 0% alcohol. This one, $25 from the 0 alcohol shop. Less than 0.05%. It's de-alcoholized, but it's not. And on the front, it says 0.0% alcohol. So on the front, when you're looking at it to choose from the 0 alcohol shop and it says 0.0% alcohol, and on the back, it says it's less than 0.05. Now, what gives with that? And this final one, I think, is 0% alcohol. That's what it says there. But then it says 91% rectified, dealcoholized wine, 91%. So I can't really trust that one either. So out of those 6 from the Zero shop, there's really only this one, which says dealcoholized, which more or less, I hope, guarantees that it's 0%. Enough said.